Sarah Chandler Coates, born 1829, grew up the daughter of an affluent abolitionist in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. By the age of 10, she was already showing traits of the activist she would become, and well on her way to creating a life that would result in defining many of our opportunities as women and Kansas Cityans.
She was the principal of a school when she was 16, if you can imagine. And really from that point on, even after marrying Kersey Coates, she continued to exhibit leadership.
Sarah Coates was a woman of unusual intelligence, and considering that women of the day were still a disenfranchised segment of the population, her push toward equal rights, both against slavery and for women's rights, demonstrated the kind of fortitude this young woman possessed. Totally supportive of her husband Kersey, she agreed to move to the Westport Landing area of Kansas City, a frontier town that by all written accounts and at first glance, totally appalled her.
They were determined to, as abolitionists, go to the Kansas City region to homestead in Kansas Territory so that they could then be among the voters to enable Kansas to come in as a free state.
During the Civil War, the Coates Front Parlor would serve as a hospital for injured soldiers, and their basement a hideout for Kansas Territory Governor Reeder prior to his escape to Chicago. After the war, Sarah did even more to develop the community. Kay Barnes states in her writings of Sarah Coates, she was a woman of great intellectual curiosity, reaching out to female friends and acquaintances in Kansas City to form 9 different women's organizations.
One of the organizations she founded was a children's home for those children who were not able to be with their own families for whatever reason. So that certainly was a social justice issue very early on. There are residual elements even these many, many decades later in everything from having co-founded the Unitarian Church to having been a leader in the suffrage movement in this region of the country, to forming so many different women's organizations, which I'm confident over time enabled so many other women following her to take on positions of leadership, to gain recognition in the community.
Sarah's founding of the history class evolved into the 81 Club of Kansas, which still exists today, carrying with it an impressive list of supporters and the same mission as in 1881, to further members' knowledge and intellectual life of Kansas City.
There have been these threads, a kind of mosaic of women involved in all kinds of leadership roles in our community today, who without fully realizing it are the result of the efforts of women such as Sarah Coates. I was so excited to have the chance to nominate Sarah Coates, knowing that she was perhaps the first female leader, activist in Kansas City. So to have her receiving this recognition, I hope, will be a reminder to all of us as women living today the rich heritage we have from these earlier women who led the way for us.
For embracing the very meaning of pioneer spirit, and through her efforts, bringing about fundamental change for women and our city at large, we are proud to welcome Sarah Chandler Coates into the 2017 class of the Starr Women's Hall of Fame.